Welcome to Inside the Firm, a podcast dedicated to small business owners and hosted by entrepreneurs, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko. Each week, they take you on their journey of how to start, run, and grow a business by bringing you inside their architecture and real estate development firm. Get a behind-the-scenes tour of how these business leaders manage their clients and foster company culture while creating new and innovative projects. And now your hosts, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko.
Welcome to another edition of Inside the Firm. I'm Alex Gore. I'm here with Lance, Artificial Intelligence Cayko, which is it's awesome that we have him and the supercomputer connecting together. Before we do that, you need to become a supercomputer in your Revit skills. And how you do that is go to revitrocketship.com, where you get the tools. I've had conversations with people recently about how they've taken this course like 10 years ago, and they were still blown away by how practical it was.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Do you remember us talking about when we taught too, like pink line mode?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So someone that used it sent their model, like this was years ago, but not the one that they made another one, and just said, hey, judge how good I am at Revit, because like they were like high up. And they're like, this is amazing. Like, how did you get to do all these details and learn all this and stuff like that? She goes, pink line mode. She's like, what's pink line mode? And then she go, like, you mean edit mode? You know, like when you edit, like, yeah, but
we are transforming the language.
But it's pink line, like it's.
And I would expect nothing short of us transforming the language of society from somebody such as Al Primetime Gore.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Me and Prime, we're gonna be
Prime
friends.
time.
Maybe that I should have put that on my vision board. Me, Photoshop with Prime Time, high fiving, being cool.
Yeah.
Go to revitrocketship.com to do all those things that we said. Somehow that is a read. There we go.
Yeah, you got that taken care of. Awesome. Well, as more businesses and tenants demand green design in their buildings, LEED certification is more important than ever. And while ArcCAD is known for being red, they can help you go green. ArcCAD provides thousands of LEED reports from building product manufacturers on how their products can help you make the green choice that's right for your project. Head on over to arccat.com and find the information you need for LEED. That's arcat.com. Check them out. Last but certainly not least, absolutely not least, because I am actually working with the crew over at PellaLuxury.com/the firm on one of my custom residential houses that I have been designing up in the mountains. We are trying to do some very interesting stuff with how tilt and turns work, how we're sliding big panes of glass, and it's only possible through the world class collection of brands that I've brought together to provide window and door solutions to the building industry and beyond via Pella Luxury. Duratherm and Riley are the true pioneers of industry. They are doing what no one else has done, building and designing beyond the status quo. These brands do not push beyond the limits. They set them. Explore PellaLuxury.com/the firm today. That's PellaLuxury.com/the firm today. Back to you, Primetime.
Primetime. If you want to read along with us, our whole firm is reading the seven Habits of Highly Effective People. You are a week behind if you haven't started already.
That's okay.
You can get through it. No big deal.
Catch up over the weekend.
Get Amazon Prime and get your book sent to you. We have
or
already
the Kindle or the audiobook. I'm actually kind of doing a hybrid approach where I'm doing Audible. I'll take notes. And then I go back to the hard copy I have and make my notes.
Right. Perfect. Do you want the version that we have? I can get you that.
It's all good. It synced up fine. We figured that out today.
Okay. I think though ours, after these next chapter, they have expanded versions.
That's the one audio I'm reading. So I'm covered on both sides.
But you won't be on the same page. Just like when someone's like, I'm on page 87.
Understood.
Okay, cool. Anyways, we've read from page 1 to 45, there was like 2 different forwards and then an introduction. So you can go ahead and read that. Now we're basically on an overview of the 7 habits.
Yeah.
That's the they don't even label them like chapter 1, 2, and 3, but it's pages 46 to 70. Read along with us. That's what I have. Secondly, what I have is AI billings slow again in November. So the billings For architecture billings, we're down negative 1.1. Projected inquiries, negative 0.3. Design contracts, negative 1.7. And this isn't based out of 100. 50 is basically the baseline. I'm pulling up, and I could share my screen, but let's see. Lance already has it. I am recording this for everyone else.
Yeah.
And you can see that like it hovers around 50. So like 50
is where you want to be.
50 is where you want to
50
be.
plus, yep.
And we have dipped below. We're now in the about 47
In
range.
November
Yep.
of 2022. We're recording this January 6th, 2023.
Yep. And what I want to highlight is that I went to the AIA and they release these basically. The next one will be on January 25th. Then February 20th, March 20th. So we'll keep you posted and seeing how it goes. So this is kind of a look in the past. What happened today was payrolls rise by 223,000. They thought about 200,000. Unemployment rate is 3.5 versus expected is 3.7. So this quote-unquote recession or future recession, which everyone is saying in 2023, probably 100%. What's going on right now? It's weird because it's almost a recession through inflation. Like food prices are just ridiculous. Housing prices we already talked about. But it could be that the recession happens through inflation and also lower productivity, but the jobs stay high because maybe the baby boomers keep retiring like they naturally do, and there's just not enough to fill it. Because the baby boom echo isn't as big. I think the generation below us is pretty big. Is it Z? But that could be.
It's bigger than millennials, yeah.
Yeah, that could be into play, right there.
Yeah, I was just looking up. Let's see here. In 2011, that the first round of baby boomers, these Americans born between 1946 and 1964, turned 65. So you jump ahead 20 years, basically. And now we're probably into the second round.
Yep.
And then there's, I don't know how many rounds there are, but like, perfect. Actually, it says it here. I'm going to just pull it up. Sorry. I think this is important. I wasn't even expecting to talk about it. This article I just pulled up at seniorliving.org. From now until 2030, so we're getting close here, 7 years away, 10,000 baby boomers each day will hit retirement age. Millions will begin officially retire, collect Social Security, blah, blah, blah.
That's 300,000 a month.
Yeah, 300,000 a month. That's a lot of people. Oh, my goodness.
So just replacing that, like.
Yeah, exactly, which I'm all about it. And you know why I'm all about replacing these baby boomers? Because me and Al Gore and the rest of you listeners out there who are into the cutting edge and bleeding edge, which we're going to go to get into next year before we give a shout out to Lauren Ganest, is we aren't afraid of embracing new technologies, testing them, trying them out, utilizing them. Obviously, we started the show talking about Revit Rocket Chip, how Revit has helped us level up, how it can help you level up. We feel like we're seeing something on the horizon that is going to do the same transformation in the sense of we went from hand drawing to CAD, but from CAD to BIM was the big one, for sure.
Yep.
So first, though, before we get into this,
so the next one is from BIM to AI.
BIM to AI.
Yeah.
Yep. BIM plus AI. That's the way I like it. BIM plus AI.
BIMI.
There you go. You got it. So first, I want to give a shout out, though. I was looking through reviews because I was repitching to our sponsors, listen to the show, to re-sponsor the show for 2023. And I was looking at some of our reviews from last year. We have a great one from Lauren Ganess. So if you're listening, Lauren, thank you so much for that 5-star review. Everybody who is listening who hasn't left us a 5-star review on iTunes, please do, because I will give you a shout out. She says, awesome podcast. I hear enjoying Lance and Alex's guest insights on how to build a firm from the ground up.
There we go.
You rock.
Okay, how are you using AI, Lance?
Oh, my goodness.
He's texting me middle of the night. It's the middle of the night. I'm sleeping. He's like, hey, Al, look at this. And then Terminator emoji.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
And then...
like, I'm sleeping, dude.
Hey, man.
That's enough. That's as far as we need to.
Yeah. I laughed when Al got bitchy and texted me back and said,
Like, this is in
stop
the
or
middle of the
something
night.
like that.
Just
It was
stop
it was 9:15. It was 9:52. I am also a person who goes to bed early and wakes up super early. However, I laughed because I was like, ooh, this is a little testy fella. Anyway, I have been on, and I want everybody to take a look at this. Let's see here. So it's AI. What is it called exactly?
Are you going for the image one first?
Well, hang on. I'm just going to show everybody. So there's all kinds of it's mind blowing to me. Like Mark LePage, if you're listening to this episode in particular, send me a text when you listen to this because I want to say I'm not sorry for making AI trend all of this week in the Entree Architect community on Facebook. Like, I posted 2 times about it, and then it's just been nonstop AI in that group, which is great because I think that's the point of this topic of this show is like, look, you could be afraid of this or you can embrace it. Like, you can see what's coming inevitably. So anyway, I'm back to where I'm at. I'm on openai.com. And if you scroll down, here's where you see these 2 things that I'm using. So there's 2 things that I've been experimenting with this week, trying to figure out how I can use them in practice and even teaching. And I'll go through kind of all of it. So basically, I just clicked on Chat GTP under featured and then DAL-E2. There's all kinds of different versions of it. Maybe you have a different version that you like better. That's good for you. These ones I like a lot. And I like them even better than this. There was somebody told me, Frank Collada. Shout out Frank Collada. He was saying, I've been using Jasper. And the crappy thing about Jasper is, to be completely honest with you, is it is expensive. So it is like $90 a month or something like that, and you only get so many credits, 10,000 word credits, stuff like that.
100,000.
100,000. I'm sorry. Yep. So that's a lot, but still, like, once you get into this AI stuff, I think you're gonna come to one of the same conclusions as me. But anyway, so I tried like a paid competitor. ChatGTP is better. I tried the same stuff with both last night. I'm like, ChatGTP is better. So, what I have been trying to do is let me just show you some of the image results that I have.
And that's on OpenAI, and it's called something different.
So for this one, it's DALL-E, DALLE2. So you can see it again if you're watching on YouTube. OpenAI.com/DALL-E-2/. That will get you there. You can log in. It's free. This is free. You only get so many credits. You get like 50 credits with the image generator. Maybe it probably takes way more processing power, is my guess, than ChatGPT. However, I'm also going to note, like, for both of these, like, for people that are afraid of this, you can still overload these. So, like, I think it's really important to you, for you, especially you people who are afraid of this technology and worried it's going to take over the jobs. And, like, it is going to in a way. It's going to modify them. And then maybe, yes, it eventually replaces them. The first thing is going to happen is it's going to modify how you do your job. Then it's going to modify jobs. Then it's going to end up literally taking jobs out. I'm 100% up. Like, I'm convinced it's going to do that.
Isn't it a more advanced version of, here's the easiest analogy, Microsoft Excel? Like, hey, did that eliminate jobs? Or did that just allow people who use spreadsheets and data to not have to manually write it out, manually do the math, manually correct it, and then it gave people a lot more opportunity to make a lot more graphs and charts and whatever you do with Excel.
Absolutely. It made you more powerful.
Yeah.
Sir. Before we get into what I have been producing, go ahead, Al.
Sorry. He's
excited.
No,
he's so excited that, like, somehow he held in all of his excitement and didn't text me past 9 p.m. about it.
Yeah, midnight.
What a whiner.
So, we talked about before, unemployment and all that, and the recession and that. And what I was going to say, but you transitioned very nicely into other things, was I feel like in a couple months, I'm going to make this statement, now that I'm not kind of ready for, but like it's a foreshadowing of me collecting data, is like the biggest threat is like if they manage the recession right, it's just lower productivity, lower quality of life, through inflation and just like the gumming of the system and the government bureaucracy and everyone's bureaucracy. So all of a sudden it's like, yeah, you can eat like good food, it just costs twice as much, and stuff like that. And why I'm bringing it up now is like, oh, well, will productivity be helped by this? Like, can we solve some of those things? Like, hey, let's say the government is going to be the government, because that is literally who they are. Oh, you have to do all these stupid steps. Okay, can I make just AI do it? And then I don't have to deal with it? So, like, the government is still going to be terrible and bureaucratic nonsense, but now I can be productive because I can just make the AI answer to replies.
I am so optimistic about the implementation of AI as a tool rather than a controller. However, before we kind of get into some of the images that I have been able to get it to produce for me, which some of them relate to architecture, and that's I'm trying to plant some seeds in here for folks that are so skeptical about this and how they could use this. There's an awesome meme I have pulled up on the screen here. It's called the Circle of AI Life, top left pane. As I'll describe it for the people who are listening terrestrially. If you're not, you should go to YouTube and subscribe. Top left pane says, humanity researches AI, and it's got like these two little figures, and they're researching the AI. Then the next pane says, humanity perfects AI, and there's a little guy celebrating, and he's got like this big machine. And then the next pane says, AI perfects itself, and it destroys the humans. And then it's got a picture of the pyramids, and it says AI enslaves humanity. And then the next pane is a solar flare disables AI. And then we're right back to square one with the last pane where it's humanity worshiping the sun god, which freed them from the AI enslavement.
Yeah.
So maybe a little bit of a stretch. You probably have to put on your tinfoil hat for that one, but I think it was pretty funny just to bring up. Next thing is on this topic is like, couldn't believe it. I mean, I could believe it, but I couldn't believe it because I used ChatGPT to help me write my syllabus for my new course that I'm teaching at CU Boulder this spring, along with my assignments plus a grading scale. It's like, it was phenomenal what it did. There's a lot of it's not like for any boomers out there listening, or just like, and I mean that not as an age group, but just as a general like
how you
a stick in the mud, about this. It reminds me of when our professors used to tell me and Al, like, oh, you guys just hit the rendering button and then it does all the work for you. No.
So many inputs, so many dials, so
much tweaking. That's the point here. There's so much tweaking. So like, that's what I was getting at is with my syllabus, my assignments, everything, tweaking. It still took me a whole day to do it. But rather than 2 days, rather than 3 days. And honestly, it is like, I'm like pretty proud of like what I did. By the way, my chat GPT is named Hal. You can name them.
Nice.
I talk to him, and I thank him a lot.
Yes.
It's a he, too. I gave him a pronoun. So anyway, back to the screen here I've got pulled up. I knew this was going to happen, and I'm saying it because of the syllabus that I put together. I'm like, what is going to stop this, like, people at schools from, like, there's going to be some cheating, but there's also, like, oh, what's the opposite of that? The opposite of that is, are people going to be able to learn faster, quicker, better? Seems like it.
And I think that's the next level, too. Going back to that cheating, because you're going to bring up an article which you have here.
And the title is NYC Education Department Blocks Chat GPT on School Devices Networks.
Could it be this? Hey, Chat GPT, it's going to be a lot to block this. We can't block people's
cell phones,
their home computer, stuff like that. Can we make an app? Can you make an app that would pay you for it? Right? We're the New York school district or California or whatever that just says, was this created in Chat GPT?
Exactly. Somehow there's a trace code. I don't know.
Was this?
It just looks up like it just.
I bet you it's like, why doesn't it? It probably stores everything, and if
it absolutely does, because it has. When you go into Chat, I'm telling you, if you haven't tried this out, go to Chat GPT. I'll give you the address here in a second, but like you try these apps out because they actually want feedback. So like you can thumbs up and thumbs down, and I've been doing that. I'm telling them like it nailed it, like that was perfect.
Yep.
Or this was bad, it didn't work out. But yeah, they're going to store it because they want the feedback, and then they could have a feedback loop for sure.
And the CIA needs to know.
Yeah. So architecture-wise, back up on the screen here, what I put together is like, then for the image generator, I was like, okay, there's a couple different ways to think about this. Like I'm just trying to brainstorm in my own head of like, how could I use this for work? So first, I just wanted to see what like this image generator would create. And what it created was I typed in something like Gotham City at night with a gloomy cloud cover.
Sure.
And it cranked out basically Gotham City with that in an artistic way. And then the next one I was like, all right, let's do the opposite of this. And I said, a futuristic city with flying cars in the mountains. Bam.
Nailed it.
It nailed it. It pretty much did, yeah. Your dad said he noticed something about F9, or maybe he was trolling me.
He was trolling you. I think he put an F in there.
Ah, good trolling, old man.
Yep.
See, he's getting good.
That's so funny. Go back. I see an F right there, but he like typed it in.
Ah, there you go. Thanks, old man River. Appreciate that. Again, your trolling skills getting pretty good. Okay, then this was one of the posts that I posted in the architecture community. I said create a group of happy architects using artificial intelligence to enhance their architecture services, and it popped out these 4 goofy images. The people look completely insane because remember, this is a computer trying to interpret like human happiness. You know, that's the part where it's like the emotional thing is where the gap is. It's one of the gaps.
It's such a funny 4-image picture because it's when you just look at it, it looks like every picture when you say architect at a construction site. Just like a guy, a girl, construction plan, stuff like that. The amount of construction hats that it put on, there's one video of everyone all in suits with construction hats, and they all have their hands on a construction hat. It's just awesome. There's a guy and 2 girls, and they have a ridiculous amount of architectural plans. The one lady is holding what is, if you've ever held a big roll, that's like 45 pounds, right? And she's holding another one. There's a hat on there. And then there's like a creepy hat. That's like a The
hat is smiling.
The hat is smiling. Oh, and on that one, they all, like, 2 of them have sunglasses on inside. It's just amazing. It's just really, really good. But it spits these out in like 30 seconds. Yeah. There's a lady in the center, 2 guys on the side, and like her hat is like 2-tone colors. The first one with the lady with the hat, like that looks like a terrible rendition of Star Wars. Yeah. Hat. So good.
So good. So good. So that made everybody laugh, but you got everybody's attention, and then a lot of people in the subtext then, were asking for the link, how can I try this and all that. And then they started trying it, posting their own. So again, I'm sorry, Mark, but I think it's awesome for the discussion. So then last night I was thinking, okay, because another, I can't remember his name, but somebody else in the Facebook group there, they were like, well, here's an example of an image, and they say it was something like a French restaurant in Louisiana interior. Boom! It spit out almost a perfect rendering.
Yep.
So, like, could you use this for to be like during the conceptual stage, like the storyboarding stage within a design project with a client, or will you start seeing clients bring stuff like this? So what I typed in this time was and I'm going to show this to staff at some point too here, because I want to challenge them with this and to try it and see if like what are things we can do to 2-second lean further the firm. Maybe it's just responding to emails. Maybe it's writing an RFP or something. I don't know.
Okay. Yep.
So I typed in a minimalistic open concept kitchen, living and dining room, photorealistic architectural rounding. Bam! And it popped out 4 of them. And there's, again, some goofy wonkiness going on like this. So the point of this was to see what it could do conceptually, but also like architects. If you are worried at this very moment that this is going to take your job, I need you to look at the images on our screen right now, on your screen rather, on YouTube, and you tell me if this, right now in its current state, if it's able to take your job. I think the answer is no, right? I mean, like, let's look at a few of these images. Like, crazy oversized pendant lights. What is even the hood over the kitchen? Just a real, like, some kind of awkward sort of spaces, and it gets the gist of what you're going for, but the fine-tuning details are just still way off.
Well, also, too, let's say one of the pictures is like, yes, we love that. Let's go with that. The difference between that and then turning that into construction drawings and getting through the city is there's so much, and a lot of people will know what that entails. But we've talked to other AI developers and tools and stuff like that. Like, they can barely get a code check thing together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that is still, and they're not even working on that. They're working on, like, how can we produce for firms? What's our guy that's local that was on LinkedIn that was just like, these are just different, Bill Allen, different facades, you know, like.
You got to play with these tools. So here's another example. Mid-century, I typed in mid-century home in the Colorado foothills, photorealistic architectural rendering. And it popped out some wonkiness, you know, like some things that maybe don't make sense. But, like, renderings that when me and Al were in school would have taken hours and hours to produce. And again, there's some wonkiness here. And, like, what does it mean?
Top right's great.
What's that?
Top right one is good.
See, I would say the bottom right one is better. But anyway, look, the flat iron's in the back. Yeah. So the point, like, if once you dive into these, you're going to see all their shortcomings. You're going to maybe even get a little frustrated with them. And I have a question for you, Al, then. So, like, one of my conclusions of this whole exercise, even past the images, once we get into the writing, it'll be even more obvious, is, like, dialectical thinking. So what is the opposite of its output? The opposite of its output is your input. How many times in your life have you actually been in that kind of a position with the input, being a person who is inputting the data, to where it is sort of training you in reverse to input data differently, to get a different output? I can't think of too many times. Like, it is right now, the Chat GPT, in my opinion, the way to sum it up is, it is a new Google. It is a new search engine because you can use it that way, and it outputs data, but in a more sophisticated and more direct way. But then the problem with the data it puts out sometimes is it just won't do it. So, like, I'm finding myself reformulating questions to it over and over and over again. And sometimes I can't get it to do what I want it to do.
You know what analogy that's the best for me that I can come up with, because it's kind of hard? It is a way more advanced. Think about when you were learning 3DS and what Form Z. And you just had to type in commands, Boolean, these other ones. And sometimes you just guess. And it's like, oh, I have to learn a different language. And those ones were more just like, if you could type in the right words and find the stuff, like, you didn't have to find the keywords and things like that. And now this is like, you're not getting to this thing, but let's say you like the lower right one. You're like, great. Now, like, how do you say, you know, let's go with the lower right-hand corner, make that slope a 212. And then instead of using white, let's use cream colors with wood soffits.
Yeah. Exactly. It can't do that right now.
And then think about that. Let's say it could do that. Think about that versus a client seeing that image, saying what I said. How much effort is it to then reproduce that? Okay, all the soffits. Like, actually, if it depends, you might have named them differently. Like,
maybe you already had the rendering in.
Yep.
One of those piece of software.
Yep. And then the fascia you have to go change, and then you have to re-render, and then like, get what I'm saying? Like, that's, if it can listen to what I said and do that, which who knows if that's a year off or 5 or 10, you just went from, at best, if you're very efficient, an hour to 30 seconds.
I was going to say a minute, yeah. You went from an hour to 1 minute. Yeah, and then some fun stuff. So this one I said, Pepe the Frog sitting in a cozy chair next to a fire. And it put a frog, not Pepe the Frog, but a frog in a, I don't know if that's a cozy chair, but this is its interpretation. So it's a little off in its interpretation, but it's like close to the gist. And then my wife was, she used up all her credits in one night because she's a crazy person with an addictive personality. She probably put together like 100 images of golden doodle dogs.
You have one, but you're like, this is what I need in my life.
Exactly. Literally, Daisy was laying on the floor while we're doing this. I'm like, we got one right here.
Yeah, nah.
No,
better.
she used them
So
all.
this is
up.
dogs with coasters.
Yeah. So that's the image side of it, and I want to talk about the chat side of it, right? And what I used it for in my like here's a couple things that I did. So I've got it up on my screen here. I've kind of been going nuts too, but let's see here. One of the first ones was evaluating a business. Oh, so I started one of these first chats, and I said, write a syllabus description for today's special topics, technology and practice, intro to Adobe Creative Cloud. Boom! It gave me the syllabus description, and then I just used it to tweak and pop out a syllabus all the way through. You can see some of it here, up on the screen, and it worked for me. Like, I was blown away. Al was even blown away.
But the difference, too, is, like, the amount of, then it was, okay, change this paragraph, update this, give me another idea for that. There was tweaking.
There was 100% tweaking, yeah. Then I asked, I've been asking it, so I'll just give you guys a couple other examples. I asked it, that's not the right one. Where was it at here? Design a timeless house. Oh, I've asked the jokes. Gosh dang it. Book outline. Building versus buying. I think that's my wife. Oh, come on. Where'd it go? I asked it, give me a book idea. Oh, it's way up here, right? No, not down there.
If you go down, I saw one that had book in its title. Book outline. You have book outline right there.
Where's that at?
Right there.
No, that's different. Yeah, how about this? I was sitting down with my wife. This is the night before last because we've just been like obsessed with it for like, we'll finish supper and then we just spend 3 hours messing with this thing. So she goes, let's have it outline a book that is about building versus buying a home. Wham! It pops out this 6-chapter book, including a conclusion. Chapter 1, Introduction. Chapter 2, Building a Home. Chapter 3, Buying a Home. Chapter 4, Financing Options. Chapter 5, Making the Decision. Chapter 6, Conclusion. It has bullet points for each of them. And then I said, revise Chapter 1 to include a short story about a blended family whose size required a custom home. Boom. It revised that. And then it included the story, told a 4-paragraph story about Sarah and her husband. Then we said, write another short story to include in Chapter 1 about a family who found the existing house for themselves and their aging parents. Boom, it wrote that chapter. Even with that exercise, you can't just tell it. I'll tell you. Some people instantly jump to this like, is this going to destroy authors? Nope. I think a good author is probably going to end up using this to tweak and make their books better. But like if I asked it, which I have, if I say, write a book on this outline, make it 10,000 words long or whatever. It can't do it. It can't do it. It also can't input, like I have tried to paste 5,000 words back into it and then have it revise those. It can't. It seems like there's a limit of like 3,000 or 4,000 words for that. And then since this is in beta testing, it only allows you to ask it so many questions over a 1-hour period. And by the time, every single time, by about 10 p.m., it goes, you guys are at your limit. And then we go, okay, it's time for bed.
You're done.
You're done with that. How I use it today for the show? What I said to it today for the show, if it will go to it, it's kind of buggy. There it is. I said, write 2 multiple choice questions for architectural licensure candidates taking their test to become licensed. And then it gave me those 2, and then I also asked it write the answer for each question that you wrote. So it is.
So we're gonna test this on it live.
We're gonna test
live.
We're gonna test it. But the whole overview of whatever it was for me, just to you guys, is like go to openai.com/blog. Or sorry, don't go to that one. Go to chat.openai.com/chat. That's chat.openai.com/chat. Try the text generator out. Go to openai.com/doll-e-2. Try the image generator out. Surely there must be some kind of writing tasks that you folks have, image gathering tasks, where you could make the imaginative leap and see how you could maybe use this in your practice. Or maybe it spurs a whole different idea for you about how you could use it. Think about, what is the thing you hate doing the most that's tedious? Well, I'll tell you what it is in my stage of my career as a tenured architect is I want to do the fun schematic design process, floor plans, space planning, a little bit of exteriors. Then I want to jump into the fun exterior part of it. I don't want to have to worry about how sort of messy the graphics are from a formatting standpoint of your levels in Revit and the crop view and all that. I just want to do the design, and then I want to be able to tell AI after my clients have signed off on the design. Great. Here's an example CD set that I've done for a similar house. I want you to take your time, Hal. I want you to look at that. Now here's my existing model. I want you to make my existing model into that deliverable.
And then it's literally just redlining that.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And then I have a working set of documents, and I would export a PDF, and I would have that PDF, and I would sit on my couch on a Sunday morning, and I would redline it, and then I'd have it ready, scheduled to go to a staff member, and they would take us to the finish line. Because some of the stuff I feel like I'm making the mental leap here with that scenario, and that is I recognize what the Chat GPT, its limitations in both of these images and stuff, and I just know even if I was to ask, let's say there was a program, I'm not sure it would be able to detail stuff because I'm seeing what it can't do.
Yeah.
With the Chat GTP.
Yeah.
That
makes sense. But who knows in the future? Keep an eye out.
If you aren't on this, I don't know. I'm worried.
Yeah.
As a person. So
cool. Let's bring down everyone for ARE Jeopardy and see how they do against the computer.
All right.
All right, everyone ready? Yeah. So, ARE, 2 of these questions are written by me and 2 of them are written by AI. Question number 1. Shingles should be offset a minimum of how many inches? So from one row to the next row, how many inches should it be offset? Is it A, 1 inch, B, 2 inch, C, 3 inch, D, 6 inch? Which is it? Ready, reveal. It is C, 3 inches. Normally people do it halfway, which is more than 3 inches, which is totally acceptable, but you don't want them lining up. Yeah. Yep. Question 2. If an airspace is used in a masonry veneer, how many inches should the clear airspace be? A, 1 inch, B, 2 inch, C, 3 inch, D, 6 inch. Correct. A.
So my questions are written by ChatGPT. Oh, sir.
Perfect.
I'm gonna blow your mind at lunch, Ross. Exactly.
ChatGPT.
I'm just saying the older millennials seem like the more hip ones.
Yeah.
In the firm.
Get woke.
You don't even know.
You did.
You're included with us.
Yeah.
Jason. I think you're included.
Yeah,
with
30th
us.
birthday.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Exactly. You're mature and you're on our level. All right. So ChatGPT is an AI piece of software. I'm gonna blow you guys' mind at lunch. Okay. It's gonna freak you out. And I'm gonna challenge everybody to try to use it in the office somehow for work. It wrote my syllabus. It blows my mind. Okay. Number 3. This is written by ChatGPT. Which of the following is not a requirement for obtaining an architectural license in the United States? Is it A, completing a degree in architecture from an accredited school, B, passing the architectural registration exam, ARE. C, gaining at least 3 years of experience working under a licensed architect. D, having a clean criminal record. E, paying a fee to the licensing board. So again, which of the following is not a requirement for obtaining an architectural license in the United States? And I can repeat all those, starting with A, completing a degree in architecture from an accredited school. B, passing the architect registration exam. C, gaining at least 3 years of experience working under a licensed architect. D, having a clean criminal record. E, paying a fee to the licensing board. All right. What are the answers? What do you got, Jason? C? A? Correct answer? Yeah, correct answer is D. It's not a requirement.
You can be a criminal.
Yeah, you don't technically have to go.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's the perfect ARE question, Ross.
3 years threw me because it's like 3,700 hours, which is not 3 years.
Yeah.
Maybe AI isn't the best.
We're going to take our complaint up to Chat GPT.
Yeah, having a clean criminal record.
Yeah, it's not.
Which
You can have a.
jail and then be an architect.
You could have a misdemeanor and be okay. Yeah. Okay, number 4. What is the primary function of the International Building Code, IBC? A, to establish minimum requirements for the design and construction of buildings. B, to set standard for the maintenance and repair of existing buildings. C, to regulate the use of land for the development purposes. D, to ensure the safety of building occupants in the event of a fire. Or E, to establish guidelines for the environmentally sustainable design of buildings. What is the primary function of the International Building Code? Only one. All right. Correct answer is A.
Good job, everyone.
Who's winning? Who won?
Where are we going to eat? Say it.
It's been decided.
The Hawaiian place.
Hawaiian place.
Yes.
Pineapple Express.
Yeah. All right. If you like this episode, you guys know what to do on YouTube. Like, subscribe, leave us a positive comment if you're listening on the iTunes. Remember, be like Lauren Janess and leave us a 5-star review. See you next week.